What about making yours sound better?
Hey, what is up guys, my name is Tukmatsev, and in this video we're going to be learning how to make chords and melodies. Now this tutorial is kind of more for the beginners out there. We're going to be covering a lot of basics and there's not going to be too much of music theory to make things a little bit more simple. But anyways, today we're going to be using scales to create chords and melodies. Now in music we got two main scales. We got the major and we got the minor scale. And in this video, we're going to be using both of those scales, and we're also going to be creating our own scale. Now, if that sounds awesome, let's just dive into this tutorial. All right, so I got my piano over here, and to pull up some scales, we can just go to piano roll options and click stamp. And we have a bunch of scales over here. Now, like I said, we're going to be using the main scales in music, and that is major and minor. Now before we actually start using the scales, I'm going to tell you what is a scale in general. Now with a couple words, it's pretty much just a sequence of notes. So for example, if we take the major scale and we just click on C5, we have a bunch of notes, a sequence of notes, right? And the way we use a scale is, for example, we can put it on any note. In this case, I'm going to put it on C. And this is pretty much our scale. Now, what is the point of the scale in the first place? Well, first of all, we can just make chords and melodies using these notes here. So for example, I can use all of the notes that are in the scale, and it's going to be much more easier to create a chord and melody. So what we can do is we can just kind of extend our scale, and I'm putting all of these notes on the C since we started off with the C. So for example, if you would start off with an E, then you're going to have to go up or down to an E. That's how a scale works. That's how to expand it. But anyways, I think this is kind of a good amount of notes here. I'm just going to extend them like that to a 4-bar sequence. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually clone this piano. And I'm going to go to the piano roll here, and we will see the scale right there. Now, if you don't have all of these ghost notes, don't worry about it. You can just go to piano roll options, helpers, ghost channels. So again, piano roll options, helpers, ghost channels, or Alt+V. That's pretty much it. So now we can just mute our scale notes here, go to the piano roll, and pretty much just make our chords and melodies. Now let's start off with the chords. So for example, we can just use all of these notes within the scale. Let's make out actually of these upper notes a bit higher. And we can also add some more lower notes. That's how scales work. It's super easy, and same thing applies to melodies. Now I'm going to skip the minor scale because it's pretty much the same thing, only a different scale. Now what I want to show you guys is how to make your own scales. Now this is pretty cool stuff, and it's not that hard. So let me just open up a new pattern here. Let me go to my scale piano, and to your own scale, easy. So for example, you just choose a root note. And a root note is pretty much just the bottom note of your scale. So for example, we can choose a G. Let me actually turn up the velocity here, just like that. And we can just kind of go up the ladder and see what notes we're feeling, what we're not. Now, this kind of requires to have some sort of a musical ear. If you don't have that, it's going to be a bit difficult for you to actually figure out what notes fit and what notes don't. But I'm going to show you how it works. So for example, we start off with G. As you can see how this note does not really fit, but the A does. So we go, this is our next note of the scale. You just kind of go up the ladder and pretty much just see what works, what doesn't. And that's kind of a way of creating your own scale. And now what we do is we just compile them together like we had in the previous scale, to put them kind of together like this. And now let's just extend it. So we select it and hold Shift, drag, and it's going to create a duplicate of that. And like I said, our root note is G, so let's just go up to a G. Let's go maybe up to a G one more time, and let's go down to a G like that. Now I'm just going to Control, left click, select that, and just kind of drag it along here to a 4-bar sequence. And that's pretty much it. That's our own created scale. So again, we can go to the piano roll and just make some nice chords. They go really nice and simple if you were using a scale. Now, I want to make this chord progression a bit more human, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select every individual note like that and just kind of play with the velocity here a bit, so it sounds a bit more real, because us humans, we don't play, melodies or chords or bass lines, whatever, in a perfect velocity. They're a little bit off, so slightly, so we want to mimic that in FL Studio. So I'm just going to kind of place the velocity here, just like that. And let's turn down that bass there. And maybe let's turn down this middle note. Now what also you can do is you can kind of go to the snap to grid here and click none, and you can also kind of move the notes so slightly to make a more kind of human feeling to it. And also you can adjust the length of the notes. They don't have to be all the same. And now we just kind of add our melody on top of this using the scale again, and that's pretty much it. So let's see here. And there you go, guys. That's kind of the basics, chords and melodies using scales. Like I said, is not that difficult if you know what you're doing. So yeah, so you guys experiment with your own scales. Really recommend it. Don't use some, already made scales. Be more unique, be original, and try out stuff. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one, guys. Peace.